Hey, so quiet. So quiet here this morning. Wow. Yeah, beautiful. Feeling very quiet myself this morning. What a beautiful day. Sitting in the backyard with the dogs and sun shining. Beautiful. So, I've been reading from the Daily Reflection. Going to continue a bit today. Um, you know, every month, or in September, it's the ninth month, we speak about the coinciding step. And so this month we're focusing on step 9, which is to make amends wherever possible, except when to do so would harm the folks that we're making amends to or others. So we're conscious about our amends, not trying to clean up the past at other people's expense, and there are plenty of examples of that. It's interesting. There's lots of ways to kind of mess this one up. Uh, I remember that very early in my recovery, I wanted to run around, and I made some early amends that, were long before I had kind of got to step 9 or had the right attitude. And having a good sponsor and going through the book and the steps, it helps us to get to step 9 with the right attitude. And so, yeah, I remember the first, I wanted to make an amend to my dad, you know, really early, and but it wasn't. I remember clearly it wasn't uh, really an amend. I was just concerned about how he felt about me so much. It wasn't, and also I think I wanted to borrow money. you know, to, the alcoholic and addict always there's always a motive, and yes. And I remember wanting to go around and make amends to the different women in my life. I was 25 at the time, and my motives weren't all that clean. So time goes on, and we get ourselves into the ninth step position through doing the work. There's some humility. There's a realization that this is going to set us free, and possibly make a difference in other people's lives. It's fun to recognize that, over the years I've talked to so many people who made amends, and they had this big amend to make to somebody, and they went and made it, and the other person actually didn't remember the thing. it, it was we make up the story about in our own mind about how big it is or how much damage we've done. Anyway, so here's the reading. September 11th, making amends. Above all, we should try to be absolutely sure that we're not delaying because we are afraid. Fear, baby. So, in the system, that it's so deeply ingrained that we can't even tell that it's fear sometimes. We think so this is just me. Fear. The longer we're, active working with others and seeing it, the more we're familiar with it. We see it. We recognize it. It isn't under disguise. Then it says, to have courage, to be unafraid, are gifts of my recovery. They empower me to ask for help and go forth in making my amends with a sense of dignity and humility. Humility is so, you know, yeah, dignity and humility. Making amends may require a certain amount of honesty. Of course it does. That I feel I lack. Yet, with the help of God and the wisdom of others, I can reach within and find the strength to act. My amends must be accepted. My amend may be accepted, or it may not. But after they're completed, I can walk with a sense of freedom and know that for today, I am responsible. So, beautiful stuff. Getting free. I was listening to a speaker yesterday, a speaker yesterday. Actually, I listened to his talk 3 times now, and his talk was about how hard it is for us to see ourselves as we are, to see ourselves, here we are in recovery, many of us, many years, still thinking that we're not good enough, or still thinking that we don't deserve even a compliment, deflecting compliments, and struggling with any kind of constructive criticism, and really struggling to look at ourselves. And so it was a great, I'll post it, great talk. The older talk, the guy I think who spoke may have passed away, but I'll post it. It was really, really good. And how do we see ourselves? His whole thing was about emotional recovery, emotional sobriety, and there's lots of work to do to get free, and often we don't even know that we're not free, because we're caught in the craziness of our mind, and we think this is just the way it is, and there is more freedom, more work to be done, and after the desperation has passed and the fear has passed of going back out, then we have to keep in the work through inspiration, and so we have to, I believe, keep the company of people who are in the work, who are awakening, and so we're inspired. And I mean, that's why I have a meditation group on Monday nights. That's tonight, so that we can be together and be lifted up, and for those that want that. And if I think in this life, when we get to a place where we say, well, that's it, I'm good enough, it isn't, there's still more awakenings coming. And, Bill, and I was telling you, Bill Wilson had wrote a letter to another recovered alcoholic, about his depression at 22 or 23 years in recovery, and the depression was basically based on this idea that he wasn't good enough. No matter what he'd done, he didn't see himself as worthy and good enough. And that's not humility. That's not humility. That's ego. And he knew it. And I may post the letter too, because it's in language of the heart. I'll find it and post it. Okay. Oh, so big book study on Friday nights. And 7 o'clock, I'll put the Zoom code in. Join us on Zoom, and the meditation's on Zoom as well, so you can join us there. Yeah, love you guys. Beautiful day. And if you watch this on Facebook or wherever you do, love it if you click a like, and or on YouTube, if you could follow there, subscribe there, and yeah, appreciate it. Love you lots.